Hi guys, welcome to the notes for H1-7 on graphing linear equations on graphing calculators. Today we will look at the following skills on the graphing calculator. We're going to graph linear equations, we're going to talk about appropriate viewing windows, identifying x-intercepts and y-intercepts, and finding intersection points. This video is directed at using the Desmos Graphing Calculator App, so if you choose to use that, this is the video for you. If this is not the graphing calculator that you use, then you will want to try the other videos. All right, so you may want to pause the video and jot down some of this information that's available here. I just wrote this down so that you can get it. To graph, you're going to open the Desmos app, and then you're going to click on the input bar and type in a function. You'll see over here I have an example of what it might look like on your phone. This is using my iPad because I have to use my phone to record. But you'll see here, this is the input bar. To clear a function, you'll just press the little X that's up here if you want to erase it or not deal with it there. Okay. To adjust your Windows settings, you're going to use the little wrench icon that's up here in the top of the screen. So if you want to set your window, you'll go up here and you'll click on that, and you'll see there's some different options. Okay, down here where it says x-axis and y-axis, we can actually go in and change those values if we want to and set it up however we want to see our window. Remember, our window is talking about the viewing window, so we can see from -10 to +10 on our graph, and then from -10 on the bottom to the top, and I'll show you that here. If I want to change that, let's change our y-axis here. Actually, that was a little bit beyond -10, so let's change that. Let's change this to -10 to +10. Okay, so then you'll see here when I click the wrench, take it off there, now it goes just straight from -10 to +10. All right, next part says when we're given an x value and we want to find the y value of a function, so we've already graphed the original function. What you'll do is you'll just go into like the next input bar and you'll type in x equals whatever the value is that they're giving you. It will graph a horizontal line, and then you'll find the intersection point of those values. And we're going to practice this so you can see it. That's why I'm just describing it to you so that in case it's hard to read on the paper. Okay, so after you graph it there, you'll find the intersection point and you'll click on it, and it'll show an ordered pair, and the corresponding y value will be on there. The same thing can be done if they give you a y value and ask you what is the x value. You just make sure your original function is graphed. Then on the next input bar, you'll type in y equals to graph a horizontal line, and then you're going to click on the intersection point, and the x coordinate would be, what you were looking for there. Okay, so the next part here, I'm going to move this, cover up the calculator for a moment. We're looking down here at this bottom left corner. A standard viewing window, what you see here is when our x min is -10, our x max is +10. That means our graph goes from -10 to +10, and then our y min is -10 to +10. Okay, you'll see there's a function graphed on here. If we were trying to draw or illustrate this on a piece of paper or turning it in here, we would consider this to be an inappropriate viewing window. Okay, and the reason why is because I can see the x-intercept, but we can't see the y-intercept. It would be down here somewhere. So in order to have an appropriate viewing window, we would need to adjust these values so that we could see the bottom of our graph. Let's say we move that -10, made it like a -15, right? Maybe that moved it down, and then we could see the y-intercept and the x-intercept. So anytime you're asked to sketch a graph on a piece of paper, you want to make sure that you can see the x-intercepts and the y-intercepts. Okay, so let's look to practice some here. So with the Desmos Graphing Calculator, if we wanted to graph the function that we have here, it's y equals 5/6 x minus 11. Nice thing with Desmos, we can just take it and type it in exactly how it looks. So we'll say y equals, we've got 5/6. If you just do 5 divided by 6, you'll see there it types it in as a fraction for you. I'm going to arrow over, and then I'm going to put my x, so my x doesn't end up in the denominator. and you'll see it's starting to graph a line, and then it says -11. Okay, so you can be the judge there. Is this an appropriate viewing window? You'll see up here our graph, right, goes off the page over here. We can't see the x-intercept, and we also can't see the y-intercept. So we're going to have to adjust to be able to see it. Now with the Desmos app, you can take it and you can pinch and move it around because it's touchscreen, which is nice there. But if not, right, you're going to go to that wrench and you're going to adjust them in there. Let's see, our x-axis, I'm just going to leave it as, I'm going to change it maybe to, like, let's say -5. We don't need all the negative values over there. And then let's make it, say, 15. Let's see if that's enough. And I can see it behind there. That looks like it is. And let's do the same thing with our y's. Let's make our bottom -15. That should give us enough room. And then we'll just make the top 5. And now when we look at it here, this is an appropriate viewing window. So for sketching our graph on our paper, we're going to go ahead and sketch in our y-axis. And it looks like our x-axis is a little offset towards the top. Right, so I'm going to say this is my x-axis, this is my y-axis. And my dimensions, I said my x-min was -5. My x-max was 15. My y-min was -15, and my y-max was +5. That's how I know where the graph is. And then I can just kind of sketch my graph on there. Remember, it's a sketch. It doesn't have to be drawn super accurately, but I just want to make sure that I can see the x-intercepts and the y-intercepts when I do it. And now they're going to ask us to find those. So the nice thing on Desmos, this is probably one of the easiest to find the x and y-intercepts. If I just click on the graph here, it's going to tell me, if I double click on there, that my y-intercept is 0, -11. So my y-intercept is 0, -11. And my x-intercept, I can go up here and click on it, and it says it's about 13.2, 0. So we've got those in there. Now to find the other values they're asking, it says if x is 6, y equals what? Well, it's hard to, you can take it and trace on here, but it's going to give you, you're going to see here that, if I can get my big finger out of the way, right? You're going to see it's going to give you all different kinds of coordinates here. So it's hard to set it like exactly right on 6. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to go down to the next input bar, just click beneath there, and you're going to type in x equals 6. Okay, you'll see there's that horizontal line. And now all I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that intersection point, and it says when x is 6, y is -6. Okay. Then we can go in here and we can actually do it again. Let's take it here. Let's delete that x equals 6. Let's make it 3 for the next one. And now if we click on the intersection point, the y would be -8.5. Really, really easy to use. Okay, and then it's going to ask us to find our y value, or when y is 8, what is x? We'll just click out, go back in here, and let's type in y equals 8. Now remember, my window only goes up to 5, so I might need to take it here and just scroll up. I still can't see the intersection point, but the nice thing with Desmos, we can move it over so that we can. Now let's click on the intersection point, click it again, and when y is 8, x is 22.8. And when y is -2, let's see, we'll go in here, just click back on the input bar, backspace, put in -2, and click on it, x is 10.8. So pretty easy to do with the Desmos graphing app, especially with the touchscreen. Let's move on to the next problem. All right, if I want to clear out the graphs that I have in there, I'm just going to go ahead and just click on the X's. Boom, they just delete, just that easy. Now let's do, I'm sorry, you probably can't see that one there. Let me scoot it over. Our equation is 66 minus x equals 3y. And I know some of you are probably used to having to get the y by itself, but the cool thing about Desmos is you don't have to. Let's just type it in exactly how it looks. We're going to say 66 minus x is equal to 3y. Hit enter, and it's going to graph it, but we don't see anything. Well, if you think about it here, if we had divided each side by 3, we would have a 22 here. That means our y-intercept is 22. So you can either go in here and kind of guess and check by changing those, or let's just, pinch it out here. You can see that we can zoom out and see what we need to see here. Now, let's see, we need to make sure we see the x and y axes, right? And we need to see the x and y intercepts. So now we can see them both. If I want to know what those are, let's just click in here. So it looks like our x-axis goes from, and you don't have to give me all the decimals, just give me -15 to 76. So our x-min is -15, our x-max is 76. Our y-min is -46, and our y-max is 45. We can round up to 46, we'll say. Okay, so let's take it here. Let's get a little sketch of that graph on here. Our our y-axis is offset to the left a little bit. We'll label that y. Hopefully you can still see that. And then our x-axis looks like it's kind of right in the middle. So we'll draw that in. There's our x-axis. And our line kind of runs right up through this direction. Right, so it kind of looks like that. Remember, it's just a sketch, doesn't have to be perfect. All right, now we can see our x-intercepts and our y-intercepts. Let's figure out what those are. We're going to just click on the graph. Our x-intercept is 66, 0. And our y-intercept over here is 0, 22. And then we can find the values of the missing terms over here. So if x is equal to 20, y equals blank. If you want to pause the video and do all those real quick and then you can check them, that might be beneficial to you. So x equals 20, enter, click on there, we get about 15 1/3 or 15.3. If x is 84, okay, so remember that one doesn't fit on there, so we're going to have to move the graph over so we can see it. Now we can see that intersection point. Double click, we get the point 84, -6. If y equals 18, what does x equal? So remember, let's just clear out that. I'll go in here and say y equals 18. Looks like that one just fits on there. So when y is 18, x is 12. And if y is 23, and we'll have to move our graph over, we'll click on it here. Looks like our x is -3. Okay, so hopefully you're getting the gist of it here. I don't know if we're going to do all of these examples. Let's go ahead here. We'll do number 3, or maybe once you try number 3, you got to type it in on your own. Clear out what we got. So we're going to say x divided by 2, arrow over, minus y divided by 3, arrow over, equals 8. And you see it gave us that there. Awesome. So it looks like our viewing window is good. You can adjust it if you want to. You could zoom in a little bit if you wanted to as well. But remember, click up here to get your window. So I'm going to say my x-min is -19. My x-max is going to be 39. Y-min, -36. Y-max, it's like 22. And let's go ahead and sketch it on there. So we've got and then it looks like our graph runs right up this way, just like that. Now finding x-intercepts, y-intercepts, let's do it. We got y-intercept 0, -24. X-intercept 16, 0. And now we'll find the missing values. We'll do the first one, x equals -4. And you'll see how fast you'll get at this when you use Desmos. It's pretty quick. So that would be, y would be -30. X is 25. Y is 13.5. And then if y is -10, just delete that out, go y equals -10. X is 9 1/3 or 9.3 repeating. And if x is if y is -20, we get about 2 2/3. I'll say 2.6 repeating there. Hopefully that's making sense. I really don't see a major need to do the fourth example, but we will jump into the fifth one down here. So we're going to jump over to this one. And this is just how to find intersection points between two functions. Okay, tomorrow you're going to be solving systems of equations, so it's important that you know how to do this. Let's go ahead here, clear out our graph. We'll start out here typing in the first function. Let's do 3x minus 2y is equal to 6. Enter. And let's do 5x plus 3y equals 9. We're going to do that in the second one, sorry. So plus 3y plus 9 equals 0. I can't read. I'm getting better though, don't worry. All right, so you'll see on each of these, we can see the x-intercept and the y-intercept. If you want to zoom in, you can, right? With this, that's the nice thing about this one, is you can do that. And it looks like if we were trying to draw it out, we would have, let's see, it looks like we're going from -13 to 17. So our x-axis goes from -13 to 17. We're just going to draw it across here. This is our x, and then our y-axis looks like it goes from -9 to about 4. So it's offset. So that's -9, this is 4, or you can list them out like we did up here. Okay, and then both of our graphs look like they come up and cross here. Remember, it's just a sketch of it, but you can see that my sketch looks very, very similar. Okay, so put a little effort into it. And our intersection point ends up being right here. So let's figure out what the intersection point is. Let's go down here, let's click on it. Looks like our intersection point is actually at 0, -3. So we've got 0, -3. Now let's say we changed one of these. I just want you to see that since it is the same as the y-intercept, let's just move this one over just a hair. Okay, so it still will show up there. Okay, you're just clicking on that intersection point. For that case, it was also the same as the y-intercepts there. All right, so that's how you graph using the Desmos Graphing Calculator. If you have questions, please make sure you reach out to me and I will help you out. Thanks for watching.